The Impossible Contract. Ethan Blackstone stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows of his Manhattan office, watching the city pulse with life 43 stories below. At 35, he commanded a technology empire worth $20 billion, built through calculated decisions and emotional detachment that had become legendary in business circles. The storm clouds gathering over the Hudson River matched his mood as he waited for his grandfather's attorney to deliver what he suspected would be unwelcome news. "Mr. Blackstone," Harold Prescott began, settling his aged frame into the leather chair across from Ethan's desk. "Your grandfather's final will contains an unusual provision." Ethan didn't turn from the window. His reflection showed a man carved from ice, sharp cheekbones, steel-gray eyes, dark hair, perfectly styled, despite the early hour. "Unusual how?" "He's left you everything. The estate, the art collection, the offshore accounts, his shares in Blackstone Industries." Harold paused, adjusting his wire-rimmed glasses. "But there's a condition." "There always is." Ethan moved to his desk, but remained standing, hands clasped behind his back. "What does the old man want from the grave?" "Marriage. Within 30 days of this reading, you must marry Luna Martinez of Socorro, New Mexico. If you refuse, or if the marriage doesn't last 18 months, everything goes to charity." For the first time in years, Ethan felt genuine surprise. It flickered across his features for barely a second before his mask of control returned. "Who is Luna Martinez?" Harold consulted his notes. 26 years old, works at her family's ranch and the local diner. Her grandmother, Elena Martinez, saved your grandfather's life during a heart attack when he was visiting New Mexico 15 years ago. They maintained a correspondence until his death. Why would he care about some waitress in the middle of nowhere? Perhaps because Elena Martinez showed him kindness when he was vulnerable, Harold replied carefully. Your grandfather believed that uniting the two families would honor that debt. Ethan processed this information like any other business data. What's the Martinez family's financial situation? Dire. Drought destroyed their cattle operation. They're 3 months behind on the ranch mortgage. Foreclosure proceedings begin next week. So she'll be motivated. Ethan straightened his tie with mechanical precision. Arrange meeting. Offer whatever compensation necessary to secure her agreement. Standard contract terms. Separate residences when possible, minimal public interaction, no emotional entanglements. Sir, this is marriage we're discussing. The young woman may have feelings about being treated like a business transaction. Everyone has a price, Harold. Find hers. 2 days later, a black sedan wound through the dusty roads of Socorro County, New Mexico. Luna Martinez was checking fence posts when she saw the expensive car approaching through the heat shimmer, looking as out of place as a spaceship in the high desert landscape. She wiped sweat from her brow and walked toward the house, where her grandmother was hanging laundry on a line strung between 2 cottonwood trees. "Abuela, we have company," Luna called, switching effortlessly from English to Spanish. Elena Martinez emerged from behind a sheet, her weathered face creased with concern. At 78, she'd seen enough of life to recognize trouble in an expensive suit. Harold Prescott introduced himself and explained the inheritance terms with clinical precision. Luna sat on the porch steps, her work-worn hands folded in her lap, listening to the impossible proposition with growing disbelief. "You want me to marry a stranger, a man I've never met who lives 2,000 miles away for money. Mr. Blackstone is prepared to pay off your mortgage immediately. provide a monthly allowance, and ensure your grandmother receives excellent medical care. After 18 months, you'll receive a settlement of $3 million. No, Luna's voice was firm. We're not that desperate. Elena's hand found her granddaughter's shoulder. Mija, listen to what he's saying. Abuela, they want to buy me. They want to save us, Elena said softly, her voice carrying the weight of years and wisdom. This ranch has been in our family for 4 generations, but it's dying. The drought, the medical bills, the mortgage. We're losing everything anyway. Luna looked at the woman who had raised her after her parents died, who had taught her to be strong, independent, and proud. Now that strength was asking her to sacrifice her dreams for 18 months of servitude. That night, Luna walked through the dying fields under a canopy of stars that stretched from horizon to horizon. She thought about her dreams of becoming a veterinarian, of finding love with someone who saw her soul before her struggles. But dreams didn't pay mortgages. Dreams didn't buy chemotherapy. She called Harold Prescott the next morning. I'll do it, but tell Mr. Blackstone that I'm not a decoration. I won't be invisible, and I won't pretend to be something I'm not. I'll convey your message, Miss Martinez. As Luna hung up the phone, she wondered if she'd just made the best decision of her life or signed her soul away to a stranger whose heart was reportedly as cold as the Manhattan winters she'd soon call home. Worlds collide. The marriage ceremony took place in a sterile Manhattan courthouse with only Harold Prescott and Ethan's assistant as witnesses. Luna wore a simple white dress she'd bought at a department store in Albuquerque, while Ethan appeared in his standard business uniform, a charcoal suit that probably cost more than her family's monthly income. "Do you take this woman?" the judge began, but his words felt hollow in the institutional setting. Ethan's "I do" sounded like he was confirming a stock purchase. Luna's voice trembled slightly, but she managed to whisper her agreement to an arrangement that felt more like a prison sentence than a promise. There was no kiss, no embrace when they were pronounced married. Ethan simply nodded and checked his watch. "The car will take you to the penthouse. My housekeeper will show you to your quarters." Luna watched her new husband walk away without a backward glance and felt an emptiness deeper than the New Mexico desert she'd soon call home. Ethan's penthouse occupied the entire top floor of a glass tower that seemed to scrape the clouds themselves. Luna pressed her face to the car window as they ascended through Manhattan's canyon of steel and light, feeling like Alice tumbling down the rabbit hole into an alien world. Mrs. Chen, Ethan's elderly housekeeper, greeted her with professional kindness. "Welcome, Mrs. Blackstone. Let me show you to your suite. Please, just call me Luna. Mrs. Blackstone sounds like someone else entirely." The penthouse was all sharp angles and cold surfaces, marble, steel, and glass, arranged with mathematical precision. Luna's suite occupied the entire east wing, larger than her family's entire house, but somehow feeling smaller because of its emptiness. Mr. Blackstone keeps unusual hours. He's often at the office until midnight. Breakfast is served at 6:30, though he usually takes it in his study. For the first week, Luna barely saw her husband. They were two strangers sharing expensive square footage, passing in hallways with barely a nod of acknowledgement. But Luna refused to become invisible. One morning, she discovered Ethan in his private study, speaking quietly with a woman that made Luna's breath catch. Tall and ethereal, with skin that held a subtle purple luminescence, moved with otherworldly grace that seemed to defy gravity. "Luna, meet Aria," Ethan said without looking down from holographic displays that materialized in the air. My chief technology advisor. Aria studied Luna with eyes that seemed to hold ancient wisdom. The new wife. Fascinating. Your emotional resonance is quite different from what I expected. Emotional resonance? Asked Luna, confused. Aria specializes in advanced human behavioral analysis, Ethan explained vaguely. She helps develop our user interface technologies. But Luna caught the way Aria's purple-tinted skin seemed to shimmer when she spoke, the musical undertones in her voice that didn't sound entirely human. Whatever Blackstone Industries was developing, it wasn't standard tech. I should leave you to your work, Luna said, backing toward the door.
Breaking the ice. Over the following weeks, Luna began transforming the sterile penthouse into something resembling a home. She cooked meals in the pristine kitchen that had never been used, filled vases with flowers from the rooftop garden, and gradually coaxed smiles from the household staff who had grown accustomed to working in silence. "Mrs. Blackstone," the security guard mentioned one morning, "the staff wanted me to thank you for the cookies you made yesterday. We're not used to personal touches." "Everyone deserves to feel appreciated," Luna replied, then paused. "How long have you worked for Mr. Blackstone?" 8 years. He's a fair employer, pays well, but—" the guard hesitated. "He doesn't really see us as people, if you know what I mean. We're just functions in his life." Luna was beginning to understand that Ethan's emotional detachment extended far beyond their marriage. He'd built walls around his entire existence, turning every relationship into a transaction. Her breakthrough came during one of Aria's visits. Luna found the alien woman, for she was certain now that Aria wasn't human, studying holographic displays in Ethan's study. "What exactly are you?" Luna asked directly. Aria's otherworldly features shifted into something that might have been amusement. "Direct. I appreciate that quality in your species. I'm what you might call an interdimensional consultant studying human emotional development." "For what purpose?" "My people have been observing Earth for centuries, waiting for signs that humans are ready for contact. Emotional maturity is the key indicator of a species' readiness for galactic integration." Luna sank into a nearby chair. "You're an alien? And you're a human showing remarkable adaptability. Tell me, Luna Martinez Blackstone, how do you feel about your husband?" "Confused. He's brilliant, powerful, but completely closed off. Sometimes I catch glimpses of something deeper, something human beneath all that control." Ethan Blackstone represents a common human response to trauma, emotional shutdown as self-protection. But you, Aria studied her with those ancient eyes, you respond to pain with increased compassion. Fascinating. Is that why his grandfather arranged this marriage, to fix Ethan's emotional problems? Perhaps. Or perhaps to show both of you possibilities you never imagined. That evening, Luna found Ethan working late in his study, with the city lights creating a backdrop of diamonds against black velvet. She knocked softly on the doorframe. "Am I interrupting?" Ethan looked up from financial projections, his face tired in a way she'd never seen before. "What do you need?" "I thought you might want dinner. You missed the meal Mrs. Chen prepared." "I'm not hungry." Luna entered anyway, setting down a tray with homemade soup and fresh bread. "When did you last eat a real meal? Not coffee and whatever your assistant brings you, but actual food." "I don't remember," Ethan admitted, then seemed surprised by his honesty. "Eat," Luna said firmly. "You can't run an empire on caffeine and stubbornness." As Ethan reluctantly tasted the soup, Luna noticed his shoulders relaxing slightly. "This is good. Where did you learn to cook?" "My grandmother. She said feeding people was how you showed love when words weren't enough." Ethan's spoon paused halfway to his mouth. Love. It's not a dirty word, Ethan. It's what makes life worth living. Love is a liability in business, he said automatically. Maybe, but we're not in a boardroom right now. We're just two people sharing a meal. For 20 minutes, they talked about simple things: the weather, the city lights, Luna's memories of New Mexico sunsets. Ethan's voice gradually lost his corporate edge, becoming almost human. When Luna stood to leave, Ethan caught her wrist gently. "Luna, thank you for dinner." The touch lasted only seconds, but Luna felt electricity race through her entire nervous system. Looking into Ethan's gray eyes, she saw the first crack in his carefully constructed armor. "You're welcome," she whispered, and realized she was in serious danger of falling for her emotionally unavailable husband.